In this episode, I want to bring the topic of trust to the podcast. Now, this particular topic came about through a conversation with one of my clients where she was sharing, we were talking about and working through some of her issues related to trust. And she had mentioned that it would be good for me to talk about it more publicly. So here I am talking about trust. Now, as someone who says that and believes and feels like I once had trust issues, I understand where the issue of not trusting others or not being open to trusting others or being afraid of trusting others comes from. So it comes from either past hurt or past pain, past betrayal, past disappointment as a result of trusting another person. So maybe someone did something, said something, made a decision, made a choice that led us to feel and believe that we could no longer trust them. And then as a result of that, we feel like if we were to open ourselves up again to anybody, then we would be open to attack, as it were, or open to being hurt again like we were in the past. That's one way. Another way that trust issues are developed is actually not from personal experience of betrayal or hurt or disappointment. It comes from witnessing or coming to know about someone else having been betrayed or being lied to or being hurt or being disappointed. So you can find that sometimes some women have trust issues with men or trust issues with other women based on the experience that their mother had or their aunt had or their sister had, not from their own personal experience, but from someone else's experience. And then it comes about that they decide that, nah, I ain't opening up. I'm not putting myself out there. I'm not going to XYZ because of someone else's experience, right? Which is something actually many of us don't really think about, don't really know, aren't even aware that your trust issues aren't because you were hurt. It's because your mum was hurt. It's because so-and-so hurt so-and-so. And that's why you are making these choices, right? So if you had a bit of a mind-blown moment there, yeah. Right. So obviously it comes from either experienced or anticipated pain. Now, something that I shared with my client, and this was something that she said, LaYinka, oh my God, you need to talk about this, was the fact that often we think that in order to trust someone else, they must act in a certain way, or they must be able to tick certain criteria. And if you think about it, if anyone is kind of listening to this and you've done any work with me, you know that values are massive. And so trust is one of those things where you would have criteria, you would have certain specifications. I don't think that's the word, but you would have criteria by which you would decide, yes, I can trust that person. But when I have worked with clients and when I have seen this kind of help them kind of see their criteria. Often the criteria, it's just unattainable. So-and-so must be like this and so-and-so must be like that and this and that. And all the things must happen in order for me to be able to trust this person. And the likelihood, if we're honest, the likelihood of all those boxes being able to be ticked are very slim. And so what happens then? That person ends up being really lonely. That person, even if they kind of say that they're not, they are. Let's just be real, right? If you are not trusting people, you are closing people off. You are not allowing yourself to get deep with people. You are not allowing yourself to have really intimate, connected relationships with people. You're not allowing yourself to really fully open up and experience life with people because you have placed yourself behind a wall. You have placed your heart behind steel. And the thing about this is that often you think that you're just protecting yourself from being hurt, from pain, from, whatever. But it also impacts you in being able to experience love from others and like the depth of intimacy and connection from other people, and also stops you and holds you back from being able to share that with others and to be able to give that with others. So it's a double-edged sword in that when you have trust issues, when you struggle to trust people, when you decide that you aren't going to trust people, you don't experience that level of depth and connection, and you can't give it to others either because you are behind a wall and you are guarded, right? And often we think, like I was saying, like I can go off on tangents, right? So bear with me. Often we think that it's a case that someone must change and all of the criteria must be ticked, which often ends up being impossible, and then you end up being lonely, and then you end up being resentful. But the truth is, if you really want to be, if we want to get real and peel away all the onions and all the layers, right? The truth is, my love, you don't trust yourself. Forget about trusting other people. You don't trust yourself enough. You don't trust the woman or man, for the men listening to this, who you're looking at in your reflection enough. You don't trust yourself enough to make the decisions that serve you. You second guess some of the decisions that you do make. And so even when you are in interactions with people, you don't trust your own judgment of them. And so you will lock yourself behind the wall. In order for you to open yourself up to trusting others, it's not a case of having all the boxes ticked and for them to, to prove themselves worthy of your trust. What's necessary is that you first and foremost start trusting the person that you see in your reflection. Trusting yourself first to make decisions and trusting your own decisions, trusting that you can rise from every fall, trusting that you can do the best that you can, trusting that you do and can do good and can do well, trusting in your ability to excel and to be a person of excellence, trusting yourself to be able to love, trusting yourself first. That, from my experience and from the experience of the ladies that I've worked with, is key, because without self-trust, you will project that mistrust of yourself onto other people. Your mistrust of yourself, you project it onto other people. And so it's not the other people, it's you. And you might listen to this and think, oh my God, LaYinka, I'm feeling triggered. Oh my God, you're attacking me. I can't believe you're putting blame on me. No. Let's be real, right? Let's be real. There are nonsense human beings in existence. Yes, there are. There are people who can hurt you. Yes, there are. You have the capacity to hurt others just as others have the capacity to hurt you. Truth, right? Yes. And there are people who can love you deeply. There are people who would love to take care of you. There are people who want to stand beside you, hold space for you, keep your back straight when you feel like crumbling. There are those people in existence. But for in all the times that you choose to not trust yourself and projecting that onto others, you won't even be able to see those good people. You won't be able to receive those good people, to experience the goodness, the love, the depth, the connection, the intimacy from those people. So the solution is not to redefine trust itself and then trusting other people, but to look within and to embark on that journey to start trusting the person that you see in your reflection. Because from that place of self-trust, then you'll be open to being able to trust other people too.